Y'all, I thought I was going to be minding my business today, but God reminded me of one of my dreams when I was watching a different word, and I had said I was going to follow up with y'all, and I didn't. The reason I didn't was because I did not know how to say it, and I really kind of still don't. And I want to point you to some people who I believe made videos about it, because after I dreamt it and told y'all about it, then I saw videos popping up about having a narcissistic mother, and I was like, oh, because that's essentially what I had dreamt. My mama is not narcissistic. And so when me and her were fighting in the dream, I had told you it's the video that says they know exactly what they're doing. It's the dream where Morgan had the big snake and she lied to me about it being dead in the dream. I don't know if y'all remember that dream, right? But I told y'all it was something else going on in the dream with me and my mama. That's what was going on. The only people in the dream that I could trust was my daddy and my brother. So my daddy was like playing like the God role, and my brother was like Jesus. And like my daddy and my brother witnessed everything that was going on between me and my sister and between me and my mama, but they didn't really say nothing. Like, they was just watching. It wasn't on like, no, they enjoyed it or nothing like that. Like I told y'all, my daddy, like for part of the dream, he wasn't even like in the house, but he was like aware, like he was outside on the back patio, and then my brother was in the kitchen. So anyways, I had the whole incident with Morgan. We pulled up to the house. I told y'all I ran in the house because, you know, Morgan was playing with me with that snake. When I got in the house, me and my mama was arguing, but when we was arguing, she was doing Morgan's hair. So it was kind of like, it had kind of like fast forwarded a little bit. She was doing Morgan's hair and me and my mama was arguing. And it's not even really an argument that we've ever really had. That's why I was really confused as to why I felt the way I felt in the dream, because I felt so emotionally charged in the dream. And like when I was fighting with her, like I remembered in the dream, and when I woke up, like the things that I was saying to her, and I was like, why am I even saying that to my mama? Like, I don't argue with my mama like that. I was off the chain as a teenager, but even then, what we were saying in the dream was not how it goes down in real life. And so in the dream, my mama was pretty much attacking me unprovoked, right? And she was like, she was projecting onto me. She was like, you're mean, and you're this, and you're this, and you're like, she was telling me I was all these things that I am not, you know? And I was like, I'm not mean. And if I'm mean, it's because you're mean. Look at you. Look at how you act. Like, we was going at it. And I was like, okay. And it didn't 1,000% look like my mama. That also threw me off. Okay. Like, it was my mama, but it wasn't my mama. Okay? Like, that's why I knew it was like, well, he telling me Jezebel moving through somebody, mama, but who mama is it? And, you know, I've been looking at my mama like, I wish sis would try to pop up in you. Like, my whole family is now aware of the spirit, and we keep everybody in check to include ourselves concerning that spirit, right? All the people is going to hop in our household, the least one that is going to, it is not going to happen. My mama, she's a sweetheart, right? Like, she don't project. That's not happen. I'm most like my dad. It's like, that's the parent that I bump heads with, right? And so that's why the dream threw me off and used to bump heads with, right? And so this is something else I wanted to leave for y'all, because I understand how this could play into kingdom spouses and everything. Like, your parents have an idea of the person you're supposed to be with. And it goes beyond that, because your parents have their own idea. That's what I should have said. Their own idea of the person you're supposed to be with, what you're supposed to do in life. That's why me and my dad have bumped heads a lot, because it was like, I understand. Well, actually, I didn't understand for long. It's like, you're telling me to do this because you think that makes sense to your man logic, because that's what it's like with a lot of men, right? Like, that's what makes more sense to you. But when I got older, God was telling me to do stuff that didn't make sense to me. Saying, like, as a parent, you worry because if something go bad, if something go wrong, then you're responsible for them. I get that. Like, we've had to talk through all of this. But at some point, no matter what it is, if it's a personal endeavor, a project, or whatever, or even the type of person you're supposed to be with, because my daddy would be like picking folks, and I was like, nah, like, that ain't me. And my mama would be trying to explain to him, like, no, like, because my mama understands, and he'll always wonder, like, why it didn't work out with, like, somebody that he really liked or something. And my mama, her answer is always, they didn't know how to talk to her. Okay, like, my mama understands that. My mama sees that. My daddy doesn't. He has his ideal of, like, what my life should look like, what the person I end up with should look like. And I truly had to get over all of that. Okay, and it's taking prayer. It's taking us talking to each other. Yeah, sometimes it was a little heated, but that's still my parents, you know. And I don't know who that part is for specifically. Okay. It do hurt your feelings if you love and respect your parents, right? And it's like they don't approve or understand or co-sign on a decision that you made between you and God. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. My biggest blessings, my biggest obedient steps, my parents didn't always see that. Okay? They didn't always understand that. And it wasn't until I actually did it in obedience, right? And it was like, oh, she really was supposed to do that, right? Your parents cannot tell you what God is telling you. They can confirm it, okay? And even I think we talked about this before in the Bible, when Jesus, because like when you think with your carnal mind, and Jesus like, get behind thee, Satan, because that's who like, you got to know what God is telling you, and we got to make decisions based off of that. Okay, so now if your parent is actually like truly like a narcissist, like truly, please go watch Pretty Boss and somebody else that same week released a video about it, and I was like, that's why I was fighting with my mama in a dream like that, because that don't even happen. Like when we was going at it, and I was like, it would have made more sense if I was fighting my daddy, but I was not. I was fighting my mama. Okay, so just be mindful of those things, and always remember that Jezebel is a spirit, right? Like something I've been asking myself is like, how you know if you're supposed to 100% stop messing with somebody, or like just pray for their deliverance from that spirit, you know? And like I said, for us and my family, we actually had to like talk about it. Like, listen, this is what she does. This is characteristics of this spirit. If you start acting like this or somebody does that, you need to check it. Like, we've had to have those conversations, okay? And things got better. Like, I was never gonna like stop fooling with my family. Like, and I had to learn that. Like, that's still my family. That's why I told y'all, like, it might be worthwhile for me and Morgan to make videos together, right? Because Jezebel used to hop into both of us to get to the other. And we literally have to check it. Like, because we were all getting delivered from it, right? From the control, the manipulation, the bullying, the ganging up on one person in the house. Like, listen, all families go through stuff like that. And so, but if you're dealing with a parent that's like severely, like, what I'm talking about is just kind of like Jezebel moving through you. You know, it's levels. Like, you can be like, she might hop in somebody, or you might be oppressed, or you might be straight up possessed by her. So I don't really have advice or insight on how to deal with that. But at the end of the day, please know that it is spiritual warfare. And I'm actually following this person, and she been like updating us on what she's going through with her mom. And I dreamt that before I started following that girl. And I don't know what that's like. Okay, I don't. It can be jealousy, right? Regret on their end. And sabotage is what just came to me. And a lot of times it's hard for us to believe that, right? Because I do experience it with somebody that's not my parents, right? But it can be hard to believe that, because that's your family and you love them. But that be the problem. Like, I love you, but Jezebel ain't nothing to play with. Jezebel will derail. Jezebel's a spirit moving in the counterfeits, right? Like, it's all to keep you from getting to your purpose. It's all to keep you from getting to your promised land. Okay? So I'm praying for you, because I know how I felt in that dream. Like, I was so angry and just like crying like mad. Like, I wanted to like fight my mama. And I told y'all, whenever I want to fight, I know Jezebel is bothering me, because it ain't in me to want to fight nobody. And so I wanted to hit on really all of those things for somebody today, okay? You grown. Now, I'm not saying, because like what me and my daddy fight the most about is like decisions that will affect my stability in life, right? Which again makes sense. Excuse me. And it kind of got to a point to where it was like, I'm going to just have to start doing it and not telling him, because he's the type where you got to make him a believer. And literally every time I'm just obedient, and I maybe just don't tell him I'm doing it, and then it ends up being like, you know, and he like, okay, because it's different for dads, one. But then like as a parent, I can understand that. So I have to be kind of like going easy on him. Like, he just want me to be straight, right? So, but again, we grown, and not only that, but at the end of the day, we got to do what God is telling us to do, instructing us to do. We got to be obedient to God first, okay? Because sometimes our parents, they struggle to turn off like parental, carnal, logical thinking and remembering like, oh, but actually God loved my child more than I do, right? This might be for somebody specifically too. When I first wanted to get on YouTube in any capacity, it was like, no, like, you know, and now he like asked me about it and stuff. Like, hey, like, that, like, sometimes you gotta make some of your parents a believer. But don't let their disbelief, because they don't understand, stop you from being obedient, stop you from going to where you're supposed to go, being with who you want to be with. And that's something else. Like, most of my relationships, the people I dated, their moms hated me. Didn't even know me, but their moms hated me. And now I know, you know, what was going on. I didn't back then, and it just hurt my feelings. And that's something I've already prayed, like, God, please don't let my husband's mama like not like me, because I fear that, because I know what I've already gone through. And then also understanding, so hold on, let's flip it. Everybody I've dated being scared that I wouldn't let them play the role as like my man, because I've always leaned on my dad, right? Because what my daddy thinks does matter to me, right? And that was part of the process of getting to my kingdom spouse, having to understand, like, yeah, dad, like, I respect what you think, but that don't control, dictate, because that's when Jezebel, you can't, what you think can't control my life, how I move, right? And so them being afraid of me not letting them be the man in my life, because my daddy has been such a good man in my life. But with my kingdom spouse, I think I've already told y'all that, like, this is the first time where it's kind of been like, I'm gonna be okay away from my daddy. I never thought that, right? Like, it was always like, no, I gotta cling to him, I gotta cling to Greg, like, y'all don't know what y'all. It's not like that with my kingdom spouse, right? And so praying that fear be removed on both sides, that the parents wouldn't like each other, wouldn't approve of each other, all of that. That's the enemy. That's fear. Okay. I pray this helps and blesses somebody. I realized that a long time ago. My mom talks about that in the beginning of my book. My parents had a very hard time when I accepted my calling. People don't believe me when I tell them that, but it was straight chaos up in the house. Okay. Like, they were scared. They didn't want me just, you know, going out here, you know. And my mama's thing is, like, people have always told the both of them, but it was still kind of scary. But I think for them, like, y'all, like, I'm grown. Like, y'all got, at some point, you got to trust that God got me. And that's a whole different parental struggle, right? Like, God truly loves my baby more than I love my baby. Okay. And so I just pray that helps set some of y'all free. Don't be out here mad at your parents either, because they're parents. Like, that's their job. Okay. They're human too. My whole household had to go through all of this. That's been part of the process to get to marriage. And even in the fairy tales, because I just released like Beauty and the Beast on Instagram, but in the fairy tales and the movies and stuff, and like, what if your daddy don't approve? It ain't about if your daddy approved. That's for the women, right? And I had posted to my story that time that one movie where that is what was going on. They were having issues because of her daddy. You cannot do that. And I had to recognize that we were having issues in one of my relationships because of that. Like, but again, it's because I didn't feel secure or safe and even like submitted to him anyway. So that was a whole nother part of it, right? But for the men, if your mama, because that hurt my feelings in all them relationships. Like, why your mama don't like me? What have I done? Like, what did I do to her? Like, I don't understand, right? And like, not protecting your wife from a controlling Jezebelic mother-in-law, like on the movie Monster-in-Law. I love that movie, right? You got to set boundaries, because it should never even come, like, should nobody be out here fighting. Like, I don't like that, right? Like, but you have to have these conversations. The respect still need to be there, right? And the boundaries and the expectations, like, this is my husband. Like, the roles switch. You might have been responsible for taking care of me. My daddy always act like he can't wait for me to like be gone somewhere, but then he also don't. Like, he get his feelings sometimes, right? But like, this is my husband. He gonna take that role the same way you took that role in my mama life. So he understand it. You get what I'm saying? And then vice versa for the mamas, because a lot of mamas, they like, I know what was going on in my other relationships, right? Like, your son is your son. He's not your man. And your son is going to have to find a wife and cling to a wife. And prayerfully, it would be a good and godly wife. Okay? So I know that's kind of heavy. That's why I didn't really want to talk about it. But so I love y'all again. And if it's any more like, I guess, questions or topics that y'all think of when y'all watch this, let me know in the comments, and maybe we can go live and talk about it more, or I can do a pre-recorded video about one of those things and ask God what he want me to share, or if he give me any new revelations or downloads concerning it. Because like at the end of the day, like I was just saying it on the phone earlier, it be like, nah, like you got a whole demon in you, like, you know. But like when it comes to like family and stuff, it do get kind of hard, and we do got to draw those lines, and we still got to set boundaries. But like a marriage, like of course Satan gonna try to attack the relationships when it comes, this all Holy Spirit right now, when it comes to a like two families joining and uniting through a union, through a marriage. Do y'all get what I'm saying? So let's just be mindful of that and make sure we're praying that and covering that, okay?